Hello, Wasteland! And welcome back, brothers! That's right, we're here to look at Gaslands UK's Car of the Month competition for August 2022. The Pirates of the Apocalypse. The Pirates of the Wasteland month. That's right, thank you. And this month's theme was picked by that salty sea dog, that terror of the high seas, Marcin Zaharowitz over at Mad Cars Green Miniatures. That's right, and he wanted everyone to build pirate-themed vehicles, from boats on wheels to cars with very large prow-shaped rams. That's right, this wasn't just a boats-on-themed month, although a lot of people did make pirate galleons on wheels and tank tracks. No, this month was all about Pirates of the Wasteland, pirate-themed vehicles. So even if it was a rowboat hung under an airship, that's still okay, that's still allowed. As long as it can be used in Gaslands and it's apocalypse and wasteland themed, what a month. And can I just say, I love the 24 finished entrants we've had this month. But before we look at that, let us have a look at Madcar Green Miniatures and the oodles of prizes that were on offer. That's right, so Madcars, if you're not aware, Green Miniatures and their delightful Wasteland line of Mad Cars, which is just a premier selection of Gaslands bits, as well as 28mm models in a sci-fi futuristic range, entering into the world of weird World War I, which I think is quite interesting, as well as STL files. So there's a little bit for everyone, to be fair. Absolutely fantastic. Check out Green Miniatures today. They even do pirate-themed Wasteland miniatures alongside classic movie miniatures, so check them out. And can I just say, there were not one, not two, but even 3 prizes for this month's competition. And, of course, the Wasteland's Choice, my personal favourite, winning my entry for this month. So 4 prizes to win. Oh, yes. And in first place, you would have Best in Show, chosen by the admin team, a $60 gift voucher to use on the Green Miniatures website. Second place, chosen by the sponsor, chosen by Marcin himself, will win a $45 voucher. And third place, chosen by Marcin, will win a $30 gift voucher. What can I say? That's what was that, like $135 of value? And then you slap on top of that my entry that I'm sending out, and you can guarantee anywhere in the world that's going to cost like 50 quid. So, man, the money is flowing from this month. All the doubloons that we are spending on you boys and girls. So, that said, let us have a look at all of the salty sea dogs and scurvy scalawags who entered this competition. We have, from the top, Adam McClendon, Andrew Ferber, Andrew Marsh, that yeasty codpiece Arise Lightspear, Austin Brown, Braden Wachtel, that bleeding barnacle Colin Harvard, Daniel Mumford, Daniel White, Darren Phillips, Dave Bousset, Dirk, Hardo Padgis, that Admiral of the Apocalypse James Hall, Keith McAvoy, Matt Andrews, Michael Dunmeyer, that rusty boat anchor Pete Addicote, Princep Twan, Richard Hubbard, Sam Ward, Sam Wessels, my returning favourite, William Berg, and of course, Zach Steiner. So, before we get into the body of this video looking at 10 of the finished entrants, we have to talk about the Wooden Spoon Award for August 2022. That's right, because, my goodness, there's a few of this month that would have been eligible, shall we say, for the Wooden Spoon Award. I can say without any further ado that the Wooden Spoon Award for August 2022 goes to Andrew Ferber entry. Oh my goodness, Andrew, what are you doing to me? Well, I think we start strong with 3 of your 10 finished photos are the same photo. That's always a good sign. So photos 1, 2, and 3 are all literally the same. Well, okay, 1 is different from 2 and 3, but it's the same front shot. It's a family car that's been covered in coffee stirrers and you stuck some string on there. And some 40k and Warhammer Fantasy pieces from Games Workshop. And oh, we got to talk about that lollipop stick plank that people would have to walk. This gets me. Like, I looked at the front of this initially and thought that you just stuck a stick to it. It's not, it's a skull, but it's painted so rough that from a distance I thought it was a twig and it was like a log on the front there. Oh goodness, Andrew, you break my heart. Wooden spoon to Andrew Ferber. Take part in September, my friend. I want to see you raise the bar for yourself. All right, then, so let's jump into the 10 that we're talking about this month. So let's start with Sam Ward's entry. Yes, Sam, you're one of our newer entrants to this competition, I know. And it's quite refreshing to see in this salty brine of boats on wheels that's not what you went for. You went for the more classique car with pirate aesthetic add-ons, which was quite good. So the driver there with the hooked hand, the boat anchor on a chain that you've had to do yourself, which, hell, if a tombstone can wreck a car, I'm sure dropping an anchor on a car will. The inverted ram doubling as a prow of the ship, so to speak, that works really well. I really like that because it looks like just this giant spike that's going to take all that kinetic energy from racing and just smash it into something. Fantastic. You've got a real knack there for painting the fine details, so the headlights, getting the highlights on there. What I'd say is let's get a bit more variation in that body, in the tones. All right, very nicely done, Sam Ward. Then let's have a look at Richard Hubbard's entry. Oh my goodness, Richard. Yes, here we are raising the bar. Here we are taking on everything that I recommended from last month and pushing yourself to the next degree. I actually quite like some of the little details you got on there. I like the colour gradation. I like the little use of cotton wool or whatever that is, Q-tips to make the smoke coming out of the exhaust. There's a lot of detail. The banner is especially nice. Is that something you did in like Photoshop in a design studio yourself, or is that an image you found? Because that's really good. Oh, I think the smoke. It's not exhaust. It's smoke from cannon barrels, isn't it? My goodness, what a beast of an entry. I will say, however, I think this suffers a little bit from the over detailing. I want to say if you didn't have the prow on the front of the ship, that Greek style 3D printed part, if you didn't have that, I think you'd still get away with it looking like a ship, like you've got the skeleton tied to the telegraph pole, attached to the prow, attached to the guns on the front of the chain, wrapped. Like it just goes on and on with all these layers. Let's take it back a notch. Absolutely fantastic work, Richard. What a development in your style, my friend. Love it. Absolutely love it. Then after Richard Hubbard, we have returning heavyweight champion and world-renowned favourite, Arise Lightspear. Oh my goodness, he's done it again. Look at this pirate ship on wheels. Love it. The sheer amount of rigging and string and netting and sails that you've done by hand, you just don't get this level of work anywhere else, do you? And the nice thing is as well, like a lot of us had to fabricate ships by hand. We used like cardboard and plastic and foam and coffee stirrers and all this kind of stuff. No, you went old school. You went car bodies. Find car bodies that are the right shape, the right size. Like, and that's where this stands out. Like, you look at how the prow goes into the body of that hot rod. Like, so good. Absolutely just so good. The people are your people are coming along, Arise. I like it. You compare this to the medieval month with just the brown and beige. No, they're looking a lot hotter. What I'd say is, however, put a wash on them. You are still just doing one flat tone and calling it done. Like, there's the blue, there's the white, there's the flesh tone. Like, no, get a wash on there. Get some highlighting. Come on. Let's take it to the next level, Arise. Really good, my friend. Really good. And then after Arise Lightspear, we have Darren Phillips's entry. Oh, baby. Oh, Darren, what do you do to me? Just look at this monstrosity. And I love that just homemade harpoon cannon that you put on there. Because there are some things that money can't buy that you can't just 3D print. And I think scratch made weapons is up there. It's definitely one of them. Again, with a theme like Pirates of the Wasteland, we were going to see a lot of ships, but it's so nice to see that this is a recognizably car based build. But all of the shapes are there, all of the stylings are there. This isn't just a car that you've covered in wood planking and called a ship. No, this is a car. This is a beast of the salt seas of the wasteland. I love it. I absolutely love it. The figures are all really characterful. That weathering is to just die for. I love the chips paint effects you've got going on there. All I wish is that some of these photos were a bit clearer and a bit sharper. I think take a bit of time on your photography, my friend, because I'd love to be able to see some of this stuff in a little bit more focus, a little less blown out, rock solid entry. Love it, Darren. Absolutely love it. And then after Darren's entry, we have Hardo Pajus, or Pagus. Okay, just to confirm, my last name Pagus is pronounced pretty much like Pius or Pius. So Hardo Pius. So this is quite interesting because it's sort of based off of a coach that's been raised off the ground on those enormous thick tires. But then you've panelled it up so much, and you've used other components from other builds so much that the original sort of coach body is just gone, isn't it? It's just hidden. I mean, I get that it's sort of turned upside down, and people are standing on it to the inside out, but it really is good. And like using the sort of Winnebago-esque caravan part as the sort of grandstand at the back for the captain to stand by the controls. I think what's killing it for me right now is the paint job, and it's just going in and it's separating out these colours, because yes, I get that washes do a lot of work, but a wash does not finish a build by itself. You still need highlights, you still need weathering, and you still need to be able to go back over and finish up some of those areas. Like those tyres you've got sort of set all along the sides of the boat. It's one layer of silver paint and that is it. And it's killing me. It's like the big monstrous beast skull at the front, which is from the Games Workshop skull kit. I get it, but it's killing me here because you just do one layer of beige and then splash on some wash and oh, it's finished. And it's not. It needs more work to tie it in. Fantastic stuff, Hardo, and I hope to see you in September's competition. And then we have Matt Andrews' entry, and what a strange squid-like creature from the depths this is. Now, I want to say it's not a giant Rastafarian sort of style beanie hat, is it? It's more like a pirate's do-rag kind of thing, like a bandana that's tied round the mechanical squid monster's head. Oh my goodness! I think the green stuff work there needs a bit of work because you can see where you've sort of gobbed bits on, and it just needs blending in more, a bit of filing down, a bit of sanding. Maybe working in, because you've just done it in flat colours like just solid green and solid red. Maybe it's going in there with a brush and just painting in some false textures. The actual concept of the build is just otherworldly. Like it's it's definitely sort of monster from the briny deep themed. Does it hit Wasteland Pirate? I feel like we should be seeing this in October. I feel like we should be seeing this in the Halloween month because it's more in keeping with that than it is with Pirates of the Wasteland. But by the same token, where else are you going to see a gigantic, rusty, mechanical squid monster? What other theme would match that? It's so strange. You knew going into this, making this thing, this was going to be a shot in the dark, didn't you, Matt Andrews? Andrews. You knew this wasn't going to be your average Wasteland Pirate themed build. It's just so strange. I tell you what, if you're making this now, I can't wait to see what absolute eldritch monstrosity, esoteric madness you come up with in October. And then we have Princept One's entry. And oh my goodness, yes, bringing us back now to the heart of the matter, boat on wheels, which again wasn't the specified theme. The specified theme was Wasteland Pirates. Has to be pirate themed. And I think it's fairly safe to say, Princept, that you've definitely outdone yourself with this one. I will always go head over heels sideways for a half and half build where someone will cut a vehicle in half and have the two halves on the vehicle or rearranged or changed in such a way that it's no longer just a bog standard car. Using two halves for the two sets of wheel supports on either side of the front. Oh my goodness, what a beast. What an absolute beast. Love it. And dual engines on either side. My goodness, the torque coming out of this thing. Oh, it's proper mad, isn't it? I do love a good experimental build. What looks to be like a motorcycle engine dinghy, that's removable, isn't it? You can sort of put that anywhere. And the boys and girls at home might be wondering what I'm talking about, because Princep, I love you, but we need clearer photos. 90% of these photos are zoomed in sections. You need to take a step back, my friend. Look at the pictures you were submitting when you were working on this thing. They were far back. They were distant. You could clearly see everything. You're too close. The pictures you submitted are too close. Take a step back, my friend, so we can admire the work you've done. And then, of course, we have Zach Steiner's entry. Oh, yes, my boy, Zach, let us see what you've been working on today. And, oh, my goodness, my eyes. Oh, all right, we're going to look at this gunner at the back here, and we're going to use him as the example for what I'm talking about here. Zach, I love you. But you are committing war crimes with the paint that you put on your models here right now, okay? I know that you get excited, I know you get carried away, but you need to slow it right down because the details are getting submerged in that paint. They're getting buried, they're getting obliterated, and that is clearly identified in this gunner because if I can see the layer lines on his arms, that should indicate there's probably some layer lines on his face and top of his head. But there aren't any, because the face and top of his head are just completely buried under paint. It's clearly a Wasteland Pirate theme. Like there's no ifs or buts about it. You've got the banner on a mast there. You've got the prow with the proud figurehead. But let us talk about the paint, because I think that's where you're struggling now. That's ultimately where the difficulties lie. And it's just too thick, and you do it in one thick, heavy coat, and it's so hard to see. You need to be taking your time. You need to be watering down. As I say, when you look at the gunner on the back, I can see the print lines on his arms. So there's meant to be detail here, but he's just submerged in the paint. He's dying under that paint. It tears me apart. You're tearing me apart, Zach. But no, it is a good build. It's just, let's raise that bar now. Let's take this to the next level. And then finally, let's talk about, you see, I don't do these in any order, Dave Bousset's entry. And my goodness, what a contender. Dave, be still my beating heart. Here is a man that's trying to take me down. My goodness, I love it. I love the rivet work. I love the fabrication and the scratch-built nature. I love all of the different textures and details and the wooden planking and the anchor that you made out of I-beams, which, compared to some of the rest of this, that's a little rough, but you know, like if that's the biggest thing I've got against this, it's like nothing. Like, my goodness, Dave, behave yourself. It's just so good. Yes, my friend. Yes. Look at those engines tucked away under the body of that wrap. Like, this is what gets me. This is clearly a vehicle that's been repurposed into a pirate-themed vehicle. I see you've been inspired by my idea of just, take tyres, paint them to look like life buoys, or life preservers. I like that. I like to see the things I do carrying over. I'd like to see you put a bit of paint on the wires that are holding onto them, because that silver is really bright. But I gotta say, I get the feeling those doors at the back open up, because those look like working hinges, and I love it. I love that, Dave. So let's see more of this. Yes, that's right, boys and girls. So I skipped talking about mine in July, because going into August competition, I was like, well, wait a minute. We're doing another nautical themed competition. There's only so many times I can sort of say the same things over and over again. So let us just take a jolly moment to have a look at Saint Emma's Revenge, which, I mean, just the name was sort of inspired by, Queen Anne's Revenge, Blackbeard the pirate. So naming a pirate ship is a lot harder than you think. I will say that. Now, a lot of people have been trying to guess what the references are here, and to be honest, there aren't any. Colin Harvard's jumped out of the woodwork to say it's clearly a Jaws reference. It's clearly the bigger boat that they're talking about. And that's why there's the gigantic shark's teeth attached to the steam stack on the back of the engine. And it's like, yeah, I guess. But I couldn't call it the bigger boat because that's a silly name. I want a good name. It becomes that fight against the time, doesn't it? It becomes a fight against the clock, trying to get all the detail you can into a build. And can I put this on there? And can I put that on there? And I've got to paint the decking to look like there's a skull face, and trying to get all these different dangling wires and lobster trap weights, and just all these things. There's a lot to say about it, and there'll probably be a very nice long video about it at some point. Yes, brothers, but now it is time. It is time to announce the winner of this month's competition. So, without any further ado, that's right, the winner of Gaslands UK's Car of the Month competition for August 2022 is James Hall.
Will you behave yourself?
What do you mean?
Well, you know you didn't bloody win. Tell him who really won.
Fine. I guess we'll talk about the real winner of this month's competition. So, without any further ado, boys and girls, start that drum roll once again. So, the winner of Gaslands UK's Car of the Month competition for August 2022 is Arise Lightspear! That's right, Arise, come on down. Let's see what you won, my friend. Oh my goodness, what an absolute rock solid build. I can thoroughly take off my hat and hand it to you. This is head and shoulders above the rest, isn't it? My goodness, the amount of detail. The things we've already covered, like just the rigging and sails, just the cloth work, because that's entirely custom. There's nothing 3D printed there. It looks like denim. It looks like you cut up a shirt or a pair of jeans to make that canvas. It's so good. It's so good, Arise. Absolutely love it. Just all the fiddly little details, and the fact that it's clearly a pirate ship made from cars. In a Gaslands Wasteland, this is what a Wasteland Pirates pirate ship build should look like. This is the gold standard, boys and girls. And I quite happily take off my hat to you, Arise. What an absolute fantastic entry. Congratulations on winning first place and entering the Hall of Fame once again, my Indonesian compadre. And then, of course, because this month there is not one, not two, but three winners, as well as my special prize to hand out. So it is time to look at the second place winner. So without further ado, in second place we have, for the first time in 3 years of being part of this competition, and for the first time in 8 months back to back, boys and girls, that's right, second place goes to the Admiral of the Apocalypse, the King of the Wasteland, James Hall. Yes, finally, brothers, finally. Oh, it's been a long time coming. I have been doing this for so long and I have not once won anything in this competition. I love it. I love it. And I would like to point out that if we did not have it so that our astute, intellectual, erudite selves were picking the winners in the admin team, then Marcin over at Mad Cars Green Miniatures would have chosen myself for first place. Oh yes, boys and girls, arise, you only just got me this month. Only just. And you know what that means? That means we need to go head to head, my friend from across the seas. That's right, I want to take you on mano a mano. Ah, fantastic. I actually win something. Finally. And finally, in third place, as chosen by the sponsor Marcin over at Green Miniatures Mad Cars, is Princept One. And I think it's safe to say it'll be for the reasons that I pointed out myself, because I know it's a bit rough around the edges and I know there's things to work on, but there's a lot of absolute solid building work going on here. There's a lot of ingenuity, and as I have said myself, I am a sucker for someone who can take a toy car, saw that sod in half and make it a side-by-side build. Oh yes, and the fact that the colours of the car bodies also match the hull of the ship. My goodness, come on. What a build. So congratulations, Princept One. Third place is yours. But finally, it would not be an August Car of the Month competition if yours truly didn't pick one of you lucky boys and girls to send his very own entry out to. That's right, the Wasteland Choice Award from JH Miniatures, from my channel to you, joining the most exclusive of clubs alongside the titans of the wasteland industry of Maciej Metrak and Dominique Molinaro. Oh, I can't, it doesn't sound right. Molinaro, Dominique, that's right. From this month's competition, the Wasteland's Choice Award goes to Dave Bousset. Yes, brother, welcome to the most illustrious, the most prestigious, only 3 of 3 years so far, groups in the Wasteland. Yes, Dave Bousset, I am absolutely enamoured by your build, and I know that my gigantic boat on wheels will fit in nicely next to it, although I think mine's a little bit bigger, boys and girls. So yes, that will be making its way to you, Dave Bousset. Oh, what a build. What a month, what a competition. So, as always, boys and girls, we can only talk about so many entries in these videos, because otherwise they'd go on for hours and you know you wouldn't watch them. So thank you all once again for taking part this month. And of course, at the time of recording, September's competition is still well underway, and there is time to enter yet, because as always, our sponsors have some absolutely outrageous presents for you all to enter and fight over. So, thank you all for watching Wasteland, and I will see you all in September's video. Thank you, and goodbye.